Right, we are rolling. Well, Dan Aykroyd, it has been many, many years since I have seen you. Many, many years and quite a few pictures ago, but it's fun to be able to talk with you because I just don't see any way that Ghostbusters can be anything but a big, big hit.
We feel very good about it. We think that it's just the type of movie for the summer, because the summer is a bright, happy, positive time of year, and this is what this film is. Although we do try to give you some thrills and scare you a little bit. Basically, I think the family can see it. We're safely within PG, and I'm very happy about that because I don't think this is my first release that's gotten a PG rating, and I'm pleased that that's happened.
Actually, though, you're making a brief appearance in another PG movie that's real hot right now, Indiana Jones.
Well, I thought that's what all this press was about. Told me it's this Ghostbusters thing. That was fun. That was basically, I took advantage of friendship with Frank and Steven to come in and say, hey, what have you got in this movie for me? And I just wanted to be a part of it and work with them, and they were great. They found something in the film for me to do,
And actually, you're the guy at the airport.
I put them on the plane to doom and destruction.
Yes. Yeah. How many lines do you have in that?
I guess I had about 8 lines, and Stephen and I determined that, please keep it wide so that they could see my shorts.
Yes, beautiful
my knee
legs.
socks.
You are the person who wrote the first draft of Ghostbusters, so
Correct.
I have to assume that the whole thing evolved in your head, in your imagination, right?
Well, let's say that the initial characters and the hardware, the sets, the designs, some of the special effects and visuals I conceived of.
What was your inspiration for just the general idea of the story?
I just felt that this generation of American humorists or comedians hadn't treated ghosts in any capacity really at all. Poltergeist was not a humorous film. It was a serious treatment of that subject matter. And humor and ghosts, cinema humor, film humor, and ghostly happenings have been linked for years through Abbott and Costello, the Bowery Boys, and Jerry Lewis, Dean Martin, Bob Hope. All these American comedians did ghost movies. So I thought, wouldn't it be great to do a really funny ghost movie today and take advantage of all the special effects, research and development that has been done. So just blending those two concepts, I came up with a first draft which, was vastly changed when I began to write with Ivan and Harold. And Ivan really pulled this one off. I mean, it is really down to him, really.
What is the cost of this movie altogether?
Well, the hard costs, if you're not counting actors' salaries and prints and ads, would be about $30 million. And then if you add prints and ads and actors' salaries, then you're talking about 40. But the hard cost was about 30. Now, that money doesn't go into a hole, or it doesn't go to film stock, or it doesn't go to buy, extra lights in the studio. It goes to labor. And right now, Hollywood needs this type of picture because independents and other groups are doing non-union movies, and it's bad for the trade. Some of the trades aren't working. Not all the labor in Hollywood is working. So a big picture like this makes the laborers very happy. I'm very popular with the unions out there. And, the cost is very high on many Indiana Jones in the mid-30s. Once Upon a Time in the West, 40, above 40, that's hard production costs. Cotton Club, same thing. The Natural, the sweet kind of small-scale movie in a sense. It's 26, 27.
Well, I think that you're going to make many times over the hard cost of the film.
I always hope that when I go into these things, I don't look to make money myself. I mean, if there's some gravy at the far end of the line, for me, then that's fine and dandy. But I don't worry about that. I want the studio to make money. They've hired me, contracted my company to produce an entertainment for them, and my job is to produce something that comes back and gets them their money back. So as long as Columbia gets their yield back, that's fine with me.
Dan, I want to ask you, this book, Wired, Bob Woodward, did he talk to you ever before he wrote that book?
He spoke with me about an hour and a half, and there's things in there that I don't remember saying to him that And first of all, the book, I've skimmed through excerpts of it. It's really pulpy and trashy. It's not well written at all. And Bob Woodward, he was a man with a very respectable career. All the President's Men, The Brethren, and his research and newspaper work. And then all of a sudden he does a book called The Short Life and Fast Times of John Belushi. What a kind of a cheap, you know, he's just stepping down into that seedy world, and I think he's really avoided many issues in the book. He certainly has avoided the issue of what a fun bag John was, what a great guy he was, what a warm, humorous, really, you know, concerned and bright, educated, well-read individual this guy was. I mean, how did he get to be so successful? He was smart, you know. It wasn't just, you know, he wasn't just given this this break, and you know, he had to work for what he had, and Woodward completely skirts that, and it's a depressing, sordid, tragic book. He jumps around the issue of the police probe and the fact that some of the people that were purveying drugs to John were friends of police force members in Los Angeles. And this is something that he wimped out on, and I have heard that he really didn't write most of the book, that it was John Anderson, his researcher, who put down most of the material on paper. And for my part, I just think it's very depressing summer reading, you know.
Dan, what are your feelings about Kathy? Do you think that she should be brought back, or what are your feelings about that?
I have no vindictiveness there at all. I just, I think she should have been, you know, maybe retained in L.A., but now that she's away in Canada, I mean, I don't think there's any way that an extradition can go down. And the fact of the matter is that John he shouldn't have been hanging out with those people, you know. And I don't know that she can be faulted. I really don't know that she can be faulted. He was definitely the captain of his own ship, and he just got in a little too deep. That's what it was. And he was in bad health anyway. He had enlarged heart, and he was smoking too much, and you know, so this little kicker she gave him, you know, it just pushed the whole thing over the edge. But she was definitely weak people, you know, and some of the other vermin that were around were terrible. But the fact of the matter is, at the end, John was controlling them all and telling them all what to do, you know. I mean, that's the way he was. He was very powerful. He could get you to do anything, and he could do anything he wanted against, you know, your will. And he didn't take scolding very well. And it was hard for me to be around him for that last little while, because he wouldn't listen to me, and I couldn't discipline him, and I couldn't share in these activities. I've said in the book that, you know, had I been with him, I might have, you know, jumped right in alongside it and tried it, you know. But I think what I meant there was just to relieve him of some of the pressure and the stigma, and, you know, kind of make people think, well, hell, hey, he wasn't all that bad. I could be just as bad. Well, the fact of the matter is that I really couldn't relate to a lot of that activity, and I don't like people who use cocaine because it makes them psycho, and their jaws go crazy and their eyes get, you know, it's just a bad substance generally. And I'll speak out against drug abuse when the U.S. Air Force starts forcing down the smugglers' planes. It's a billion-dollar industry. What can I do other than maybe say to a few kids out there that, you know, it's better to be different, and you're more special if you say no when this stuff is offered.
Okay. Well, Dan, wonderful to talk with you again. Enjoyed the visit very, very much. And congratulations on Ghostbusters. It's just one whale of a trip. I loved it. I loved it.
Okay.
Great entertainment.
Glad you liked it.
And we'll look forward to seeing you again, whenever that might be.
Well, we hope so.
Okay. Thank you,
Bobbie.
Dan. Super interview.